This is the We Get Outdoors 6 in 16 interview series, where we introduce you to some of the world's leading outdoor and adventure gear brands, and more importantly, the brains behind them. This is your chance to get a real behind-the-scenes look into what's happening currently and in the future for outdoor brands that you love. So we are really, really excited tonight. We've got a double attendee, which is, I don't know if he is a glutton for punishment and wants more, or we haven't got enough out of him. But Parker, welcome. 6 questions in under 16 minutes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sheesh.
And thanks for having me.
Twice, hey? Sheesh. Are you a glutton for punishment?
I suppose so in this case, but it has been a lot of fun to talk to you guys.
Cool. So Parker, who are you and why should we care?
So my name's Parker Thomas. I am an entrepreneur. I'm the founder and owner of a brand called tashtego. And here's why you should care. Every bag out there has been designed as a compromise between people. You don't get to design it yourself, which means that there's always something that doesn't fit, whether it's chapsticks or cords or, extra long toothbrush or whatever. You can't make a bag that fits your particular combination of stuff. We get requests to be able to carry makeup and bike tools, or bike tools and you name it. So tashtego is the first product out there that is changeable, adjustable, customizable by the user. So it is a tool roll that has multiple sections that slide together so that you can create literally hundreds of different combinations for your particular stuff. It's got 7 different sections, and on each section there's a series of hooks on one side and a series of slides on the other. And they can fit together in many, many different ways. Basically, it's a bag that's designed by you for your stuff.
The ultimate flexibility.
Ultimate flexibility, yes.
So, Parker, tell us a little bit more around tashtego, the brand itself. Tell us a little bit about the business.
You mean the origin, where it came from, or what?
Yeah, just give us a little background about tashtego.
So the product started about, let's say the origin was about 15 years ago. I took a few years off from my life and I built an airplane from a kit and I started flying it around our country. It was a little 2-seat, 200 mile an hour, Ferrari in the sky. And it was just an incredible amount of fun. But the places that I was going, coral runways in the Bahamas, rough-hewn runways up in New Hampshire, they didn't have mechanics. And so I had to take tools with me. And the easiest way to carry tools that I found is to make these tool rolls where it's really obvious if you're leaving a wrench somewhere behind on a grass runway. So I made tool rolls. It was just for me. And they worked great. And fast forward 10 years or so, and no more airplane. Now I got kids. And I kept having these, you would call them DOP kit explosions. And I looked at a DOP kit and I was like, this big black hole of a toiletry bag. You put stuff in there, you can't find it. Something explodes, gets all over everything. And I just thought, is this really the best that we can do after eons of traipsing around the globe? So I sat down at a sewing machine and I made a tool roll for toiletries. And it was just for me. And then a friend swiped it. So I made a few more and I put it up on Kickstarter. The first campaign raised about $60,000. I got a bunch of backers to help me design the next one, which was so much fun. And we raised $150,000 on the next one. And when people came back, they said that they liked the format, they liked the roll, but they wanted to carry different stuff. One woman said, I go to equestrian shows. I want to carry my makeup on one side and my horse's makeup on another. I had cyclists that said, I want to carry bike tools on one side and my toiletries on another. And the question came to me, seemed like, how do you make a bag that is perfectly different for everybody that's out there? So sections felt to me like the right solution. We spent about a year trying different kinds of hooks and slides. We tried Velcro, and we finally found a way of sliding them together that is incredibly durable. We've made a little machine that has slid them back and forth 5,000 times. It's still going strong. So, that's where we are. We launched on Kickstarter on July 27th this year, about 2 months from now. And I hope that it's going to, be a huge campaign.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure the individuality that you bring, both in your story and your product, is going to make you stand out. But what else? Obviously, you've got some very, very unique, like I said, interchangeable and very customizable components into your product. But what are the other things that sets tashtego apart from its competitors?
Well, I think that's probably the biggest one. But a couple other things are, I think that being in the outdoors area, we're all familiar with climate change and the challenges that it produces, that it creates. And I believe that that business is the second most powerful force for change in the world. The first one is government, and so I've tried to make tashtego a brand that will do good in the world. So two things that we've done so far are, one, we are climate neutral certified. Climate neutral is a new organization that makes it easy for brands to measure and offset, and then on an ongoing basis reduce their carbon emissions. So we offset all of our scope 1, 2, and 3 carbon emissions. So basically, that's everything that we emit in the course of making the bags, manufacturing, distribution, and then just ordinary business like flying around the country. And then the second thing is that we are using recycled materials in the bag itself. The fabric that we're using for the exterior and for the liner is called rPET. It's recycled PET, and it's made from soda bottles. So every bag uses 2.7 soda bottles, the equivalent of 2.7 soda bottles. So that's what we're doing as a start. I would say it's not enough, but it is a step in the right direction.
That is a very, very cool differentiator, and something that I know lots of customers, both current and future, will really, really, really value in what tashtego offers. And it's a brave stance that you have made. And now I'm going to test your bravery. So I think, considering what you've done in your past, the bravery you did to give up your plane for your kids, how dare your kids get away in the way of adventure and fun. But Parker, I'm pretty sure you're going to breeze to the question that makes other outdoor business owners quiver in their boots. So I hope I've built this up, and I hope you're shaking with nerves now.
Quivering over here.
So here it is. What is the big secret thing that you are currently working on that your customers are absolutely going to love? What are you willing to share with everybody who's listening about what's in the pipeline for tashtego?
Well, I think what I'm really excited about is this launch that's coming up. That's what we're working on. There's 100% everybody in the company is working on that right now. But what makes this really exciting in my mind is that it's not a bag. It's a system for carrying things. And so every section can be built upon. So we're going to release 7 different sections in this go around, but we're already working on more. Some of the things that we felt like we just hadn't nailed yet are keeping track of cords, because everybody carries cords. It's just part of your daily technology detritus at the bottom of your bag, and I have yet to see a good solution for it. So we've got a couple things that we're working on for cords. And then one of the things that came from our testing group, loud and clear from women, was jewelry. Okay. How do you keep necklaces in particular and earrings from getting all tangled up? And in the tool roll format that we've got, it would be possible to stretch them out and hook them on either end so that you've got a stretched out necklace and it'll never get tangled. So those are the 2 things that we're working on right now, with more to come. I would say that if we have any sort of secret sauce at all, it's that we've been able to listen to our customers and then create solutions for what they come up with. So as soon as they come up with more things that they need solved, we'll get right on it. The tashtego is the culmination of a year and a half now of working with 35 customers in particular to solve their carry challenges. Every one of them is different, and that's why we're bringing the sectional approach to it.
Very cool. So you're basically challenging your customers to come up with something which challenges you to think differently.
Yeah. And that feels like that's what we should be doing.
Yeah. It's a really refreshing way to
is shortening that feedback loop between customers say this and we've got something out there. And the product architecture that we've built is completely interchangeable. So we can come out with a section, after we already released these, and it'll slide right in. So our hope is that we can generate value for our customers, and then for our own self, lifetime value from the customers too.
That's a really good way to look at it. I think it's a very, very powerful thing to think about for outdoor businesses, about customers for life. But talking about for life and talking about the future, are you able to share with us, what do you believe is the future of the outdoors and the outdoor industry?
Oh boy, that's the one that might make me quake in my boots. I would say that I think that the biggest challenge facing the outdoor industry right now is educating people about climate change. And I think there's a couple layers to that. I think it's not yet apparent to everybody that the grand experiment that we're doing is not whether nature survives. Nature will be fine after climate change. The experiment that we're doing is whether we survive. That is, every single thing in our civilization is dependent upon nature. Where we live, the resources that we use, the insects that pollinate our plants, the plants that we grow to eat, all the raw materials that go into all of our goods, those are all dependent upon nature, and we are changing nature. Where we live is dependent upon stable weather. Where we recreate is stable weather. Cities are dependent upon stable, where we grow crops is all dependent upon stable weather, and we're changing the weather. And so the grand experiment that we're doing is whether we change the biosphere that we live in and depend upon. So it feels to me like the challenge facing the outdoor industry is not existential to the industry itself. It's existential to humanity, that we have an opportunity to step up and help people make the connection between enjoying the great outdoors and depending on the great outdoors. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's very interesting how you articulate this, because Rob and I were talking about this today around the role of parents, especially. So we can focus on climate change, but it's about how are we creating future people who actually understand their role, what their role is going to be in 10, 20 years as well. I think it's not all about.
I think there's one more thing that this is not directly related to the outdoors, but I think it's a shift in thinking that needs to happen, is that the fossil fuel industry and other deniers have been fabulously effective at making our climate footprint in our own minds dependent upon our choices. That is, we can reduce our own climate footprint by eating less meat and driving a Prius and so forth. And if that is true, in fact, but if you look at like the net change from doing all those things, it doesn't make a lick of difference. It doesn't at all. And what makes a difference is good policy at huge government scale that incentivizes to use less carbon. And there's lots of ways to do that. Carbon tax is the obvious. But the shift that needs to happen is that it's not necessarily about our individual choices, it's the systems that are around us that we are enabling. And that if we want to get involved, we should be involved in changing those systems.
I think that's a really amazing, powerful call to action for everybody to listen to. So as a powerful call to action, I think you've really smashed the last question as well. But I'm going to see if there's anything else that pops into your head, which is obviously with what's going on around the world with the pandemic and travel being reduced, there's some new people who are getting to the outdoors for the first time, as well as people who've been going into the outdoors for decades. What would be your message to all the people that get out in the outdoors?
Oh, I guess it would be the change you want to see. That is, this idea of saving the planet, of keeping the outdoors as it is now, it's changing. The weather yesterday is not what it's going to be tomorrow, and it is dependent upon all of us and all of our actions to get involved and be that change. We will fail utterly if we all just sit back. We have to step up and be involved.
Yeah, I think that's another call to action is step up and be involved. Can't let other people do it. I think you've got to take the action. So I would encourage all of you to go and check out Parker Thomas and tashtego by visiting their website, social media, which all the links and the descriptions will be below. So Parker, thank you so much for your time today, and may 2021 be a especially successful year for you, your family, and for tashtego.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on here and giving me the chance to share all this.